This is surely the last thing anyone wanted. A few hours ago, the police in St. Louis, Missouri, shot and killed a 23-year-old black man, an event that may inflame an already tense local situation. For more than a week, Ferguson, a modest suburb of the city, has been racked by protests and sometimes violence. The unrest has provoked a ferocious police response. Last night, there were 31 arrests.
Protesters are peaceful and respectful. Protesters don't clash with police. They don't throw Molotov cocktails.
This rage was ignited by the killing of Michael Brown, an unarmed black teenager, by Darren Wilson, a white police officer. On the 9th of August, the recent high school graduate was shot 6 times, and his death has opened up once again the question of race in modern America.
Of course, I'm heartbroken to watch it, but I can't say that I'm shocked. There's been a lot of simmering racial tension and resentment that's been building in St. Louis for years, if not decades, probably even longer than that. And so this is something that for a lot of St. Louisans who've been paying attention to these issues, frankly, St. Louis has been a powder keg, and something like this was almost bound to happen.
Now, Ferguson is a poor town, and an emptying one too. Since 1970, its population has fallen by a quarter to about 21,000 people. But it only stayed that high as black families moved there from the decaying inner city of St. Louis, so its population rapidly swung to become majority black, from 265 black residents in 1970 to a quarter of the town in 1990 to 2/3 now. And yet, you just wouldn't know it to look at the people wielding the power. Take a look at the local school board and the city council. Of the town's 53 police officers, only 4 are black. Meanwhile, black citizens account for 86% of all police stops. Having been stopped, black people are less likely to be caught carrying contraband, but they are twice as likely to be arrested. So, just how unusual is Ferguson's political imbalance on race?
Well, I examined a data set back from 2001 consisting of all American cities of a population of more than 10,000, and examined the relationship between the percent of the city's population that is African American and the percent of the city council that is African American. Usually at about 60% of the city being African American, you'll tend to see about half of the city council being African American. Ferguson was very different. Ferguson really stood out from this trend. Back in 2001, at any rate, it had just a little over 50% of its population being African American and 0 African Americans on the city council.
So why don't black voters just vote for more black leaders?
There's a certain clique, a white-dominated clique, that has long controlled Ferguson politics. They're very tied in with labor unions, the plumbers unions, the pipe fitters, the electrical workers, and these labor unions tend to get a lot of jobs from public sector construction and other contracts. Because they're able to do well, they're then able to help fund campaigns of favored allies and keep re-electing them to office. And that ends up marginalizing most of the black population in these areas.
One can only hope these exchanges cease today. But the racial problems in Ferguson and St. Louis can't be solved overnight.